I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. We are joined by Mink the Satyr. Hi.
Hello.
Hey, appreciate you coming on. If you would, please introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, my name is Mink. I am a mythological creature called a satyr, which means I have a lot of goat-esque features. I'm not actually like half goat. That's weird because it's not like, my mom was a goat and my dad was a person and that was no, purge that from your mind. That's not how this happens. I'm just a mythological creature ready to have some fun and do some whimsy, maybe a little magic.
Yeah, like satyrs do.
Let's roll the dice and see what's shaking.
Yeah. Satyrs are absolutely perfectly trustworthy and wouldn't do anything that.
That's where the expression "honest as a satyr" comes into play.
Right,
Have you not heard that expression?
It's
common,
not
super common in the Fey realm.
Yeah, I imagine it is right along with having a bridge to sell you.
Very much.
Yes, very much. I imagine it is, and satyrs say that too. I imagine too.
Very much. Honest as a satyr.
Absolutely. So, when did this satyr get started VTubing?
That is a wonderful question. I actually started VTubing 3.5 years ago. So kind of a while back as far as VTubing goes, because I feel like VTubing is one of those things that really took off in 2020. And then it's been exponentially, logarithmically increasing since then. Yeah.
And a lot of people are joining up now in different ways than they would. It seemed like there was just a bunch of people all of a sudden giving it a try because they were all locked in and not being able to do anything in 2020.
Very much so.
And now they're starting to do it because everybody's got different reasons, but it's more because they've seen people do it and they want to do it, and they're not just jumping into it head first usually.
Yeah, it's wonderful that it is a hobby and a passion that has become a lot more accessible to other people.
Yeah.
I think that was a major barrier getting started is accessibility, and the knowledge that it even existed. I really think that 2020 was the time where a lot of English-speaking folks like myself became acquainted with the idea of VTubing, especially with VTubers like Gura, who was somewhat of like an ambassador of the media to other people.
Yeah, and even though there's obviously been changes in the landscape and changes in how people do it since then, the continued expansion is amazing to me, and the fact that you've got so many people that you can entertain around the world. Was that what you wanted to do when you got started? Was that your goal?
It was a multifaceted thing. What's wild is I actually started as a flesh tuber.
Oh.
I was streaming on Twitch as early as 2017. And at the time I was doing it as a way to combine my love of cosplay and my love of drawing. So all I did was art streams. And it was like Thursday night, I'm going to do like a 2-hour stream. And I was mostly streaming for my friends and the people who knew me as part of the cosplay community, which was fun. I had a lovely time.
Yeah.
That's actually how I got my affiliate status. My affiliate status on Twitch had nothing to do with VTubing.
So you earned it before you even got the model and
I got my stripes.
Yes. You were a sergeant before you even got started.
Yeah, I guess in a manner of speaking, it's really weird every now and again. I'll like raid a channel, and if they have that special kind of shout out where they play a clip, every now and then Clip Roulette will like out me and play a clip of back when I was like a meat tuber. I'll be like, my bones, you can see my eyeballs. Which is just a weird and like very, very jarring thing to be like, hey, that's my face.
Well, wait a second.
Fine. Yeah, it's just different.
Yeah. Yeah. So
But
why'd you make the transition over then?
I made the transition over because in the summer of 2021, um, I was amused with the idea of making my own model.
Hmm.
And I sat down and was like, you know what? I'm going to learn how to make my own model because that feels like a hobby I don't yet have. And my artistic hubris was like, hey, maybe you could do this. So I went on YouTube. I found like maybe two or three like hour-long tutorials, poured over them, and was like, okay, I think I can give this a try. And a week later, I had made all the assets
Hmm.
and had done baby's first rigging. And I debuted with that model. And no joke, the next day made an entirely new rig, like entirely new assets. And literally the very next week debuted with like model 2.0.
Well,
I had no chill.
you were really moving fast.
Well, I learned a lot. And since then, I've learned a lot. So I don't sit still with my models every year. On the anniversary of the day I debuted my VTuber model,
Hmm.
I remake my VTube model head to toe.
Wow. Wow. Well, I mean, you're an artiste, so I mean, let's face it. I mean,
It's
artists
not just an artist. I put an E at the
in
end.
any at the end, but let's face it. So many of you artists, because I certainly ain't one of them. Y- it's never quite done, is it?
The work is never done.
No.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. I can always add more. I
Yeah.
have a channel on my Discord that's just suggestions for Mink. And whenever my chat comes up with a really brilliant idea of something I should do, and it's frequent because my chat's full of creative, amazing human beings,
Cool.
I'm like, hey, I'm going to forget that. Please dump that in the Discord so future me can integrate it because that is an absolute gas and I must have it.
So with the art, obviously it's something that you enjoy and a big part of what you're doing, and played so much into you becoming a VTuber. How long have you been an artiste?
I have been arting since I was tiny,
Mm.
but I have been digital arting. Oh, geez. I want to say I have been digital arting for 20 years.
Mm.
Is that gross?
No.
So I started digital arting when I was like 2.
Ah.
Don't do math. Don't do math. It's fine.
Man, my head hurts. um, so you were using like a Commodore 64.
I'm not that old.
I am.
But I do know what a Commodore 64 is without having to Google it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, you talk about
I don't know what that tells you.
If you did computer graphics back then, you might as well not have been doing computer graphics back then.
I will put this information down. You may use it or not,
Mm-hmm.
but I started learning how to digital art on Photoshop 4. Not CS4,
Yeah.
4.
So what we're saying is that you're a veteran of the wars.
Yeah, I remember the days. But you know, that's what us satyrs are. We are long-lived fae.
That's right. That's right. So what? There's a difference between being an artist and creating art and showing it to other people. There's that little you're kind of putting your neck out on the line when you show other folks. Was that something you were able?
Yeah.
Was that something you were able to get through right off the bat, or did it take a while to, say, hey, take a look at what I did?
I mean, on an like philosophical level, no, I've always been like, look at my thing, validate me. I need to have some sort of like reason for my existence, and I will. There is not a corner of my dignity I will not turn over for praise. I love a head pat.
There you
And
go.
that's always been the case of myself. Like that is how I have functioned as a child,
Yeah.
how I function as a, a grown-up fae. That's just what one does. So no, it was not hard for me to go from I'm making a thing to I'm making a thing, now cheer for me.
Yeah.
That was like, I'm like, no, that is in fact the major motivation to streaming.
Well,
Is now I can make something with other people talking to me so I am not bored. And every now and then if someone could just tell me that, I'm a good little cupcake, that would be great.
well, I mean, obviously, I mean, if it wasn't going well, you wouldn't have done this for almost 4 years now as a VTuber. I mean,
That's fair. That's fair.
you're doing something right, and
Oh, thanks. I hope
obviously, I
so.
mean, it's I envy folks who do have that type of talent that are confident enough in it that they can readily show it to other people and share that with folks. I was
Well, I'll
never.
tell you what really was the stick out my neck moment
Yeah.
was as a meat tuber, I already was familiar with putting my work out there, especially as a cosplayer, because most of the time when people Google search Mink the Satyr, my
Mhm.
cosplay comes up, which
Right.
is good. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I have been cosplaying for 5 ever,
Mm.
and I'm super duper happy with that. That's
Mhm.
something I feel very confident in.
Yeah.
So I'm already familiar with like, okay, I'm putting my work out there for people to judge and critique. And sometimes the critiques are going to be nice.
Mhm.
Sometimes the critiques are not going to be nice. And I'm going to be very sad about that. But like, I
Yeah.
get over it. I figure out, tune out negativity, tune into positivity, all that jazz.
Right.
What really messed me up was I had not been putting myself out there as a gamer.
Oh.
And it took me my VTubing journey, like from the very beginning until now, has been me accepting that despite the fact that I may claim to be a professional gamer, there's a lot of sarcasm that comes with that.
Yes.
That is a deeply sarcastic comment. And there's a lot that comes to me, like some of the trepidation that I should have been feeling about my art, and
Mhm.
probably should still be feeling about my art.
Nah.
I was feeling about gaming
Mm.
and getting good and being entertaining for people
Yeah.
as a gamer.
Yeah. Those are all different
That's
things.
right. It's
Yeah.
totally different.
Yeah.
And I was not as confident in my gaming skills, especially for things like platforming
Mhm.
or first person shooters
Yep.
or my recent foray into playing a scary game, even though I'm a scaredy baby, or playing like a Souls-like game, which I did for the first time this, calendar year.
Yeah.
These things are scary for me. And the perfectionist in me is like, no, you have to be good at everything and
Mm.
you can't die ever. And then my chat helped me develop a death counter, and the death counter is really, really high right now. And that really shows you what a professional I am as a gamer.
Most people's death counters don't have 4 digits in them.
Shush! How did you know?
Hey,
You outed my secrets.
yeah, but most people don't have death counters in Stardew Valley either. But that's
But you know what? Dang it! Did I make it try? I put in the good work. No, it's funny though, because I've become a freer person that way. I've released myself from this weird prison I've put myself in, that like I have to be good the first time. I have to beat the boss every time, first try.
Mhm.
Like, no, that's not who I was before I was streaming.
Right.
That's not who I am now.
right.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of self-forgiveness came into that.
Well, not only that, but it's entertaining.
Yeah, I did not know that my failures were gonna be entertaining, but listen, some of the most memorable moments have come from me really just failing to hit that one platform over and over again for 20 solid minutes and getting progressively angrier. There's something really joyous about watching someone lose their marbles on stream.
And when it's when I told somebody who was just starting the game of golf, I said you can go out and enjoy the game of golf, but you're not a golfer until you've helicoptered a golf club down the middle of the fairway and used 4-letter
correct.
words and combinations you've never heard before.
That is correct. You need to be summoning eldritch gods
That's right.
in your absolute rage. You need to pull out your own tongue and pronounce the names of the deep ones.
That's exactly
And that's how you know you're a golfer.
That's right. Then you're a golfer.
And you're a golfer. Then and only then can you say you are a golfer.
And nope, it's not when you break 60. It's not when you break 50. It's when you do that. You can.
It's not even when you get your first hole in one or if you make par. None of that.
No, I played long enough to know that hole in ones don't exist.
No, hole in ones are like a thing that exists in mini golf and in the dreams of professionals.
Yes. It's all made up. It's all a conspiracy.
I got a hole in one in mini golf like a year ago.
Yeah.
And I still don't stop talking about it. I'm like, hey, this one time, like, say what you will about like my personality. Say what you will about my character flaws, but this one time. Back in 2023, I got a hole in one in mini golf.
And that music plays in the background, da 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 da. And the ball moves so slowly down as you. It was just perfect. The wind was perfect.
It was just perfect. The air tasted like milkshakes. It was perfect.
Well, it's good to hear that this has really developed into something you're so comfortable with. And am I reading that right? That you've become really comfortable with this pretty quickly?
Absolutely. And I know that one of the things that I bring to the table as a streamer is that I am pretty comfy in general, just talking about whatever to whomever. I am pretty okay with processing heavy things, light things, anywhere in between on the fly. I know that I'm pretty okay in touch with my emotions, and I'm okay with talking through stuff.
Yeah.
That's been really helpful to me as I talk through my, attempts to run away from monsters and little nightmares.
Yes, exactly.
For some random non-specific example.
Yes. Yeah, and explain why, you screamed at that particular point every single time you came across that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, my chat is very, very, very aware. I have but one big fear, and that's zombies. I can tolerate lots of things. I think spiders and snakes, they're cute as heck. Give me a rat, any rat. I'm all for it. You put a zombie on the screen, and I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm done. Maybe not that.
Oh, darn, the computer shut off. I don't know how that happened. Yes. Must be updated.
Oh no. All of a sudden, the game stopped working, and look at that. We're playing a comfy, cozy game now. I've baby quit out of games so many times because it's like, that looks a little too much like a zombie. I'm out, Zos.
This is the second part of the game where it looks a lot like Minesweeper.
I love Minesweeper. I have a buddy who actually wrote fan fiction about Minesweeper.
Oh my gosh.
But I will tell you why. Because back in the days of fanfiction.net, when that was like the big thing instead of Archive of Our Own.
Right.
When fanfiction.net was the only game in town, a buddy of mine saw that somebody had written a Minesweeper fanfiction. There was just one. And his response was, oh, that will not do. And then proceeded to write an epic. I believe it was called Mindswept. And wrote like an epic about Minesweeper. Just so that the one Minesweeper fanfiction could have a buddy. I respect that. I have a lot of respect for that kind of dedication to the craft.
And the movie went straight to Netflix.
Yep. It is on Netflix now. You too can watch that film for like $29.99 a month.
Oh man, that's some dedication there.
Mm-hmm.
And have you always been somebody who's been agile with communication?
I think so. I think that's been my talent, is the gift of gab. I did a lot of theater in high school and in college. I was part of, and I'm going to say this with lots of love because I love it, but it makes me sound like a giant dork. I was part of a murder mystery improv comedy theater group.
You
And
know,
I know that makes me sound like a giant dork.
it
I am.
but it does.
Because I am.
It does, but it also, if everybody is going to be very honest with you, it also makes them jealous that they couldn't have been part of it as well.
I mean, right? Murder mystery improv comedy, what's not to love?
Absolutely. Chance to
So we
chew
would
on.
literally, we would every semester we would put on improv comedy shows, and then every semester we would do one giant murder mystery. And
Improv
it was
murder
like
mystery.
interactive and everything. Oh, it was great. I had a blast. But it really is something that prepared me to feel comfy and cozy with talking to people, especially talking to people on the fly,
Oh
because
wow.
that's what improv is, baby.
Oh well, yeah. I have friends of mine went up. A friend of mine went up and studied at Second City, um, and
Impressive.
yeah, he got to be in a movie and later on, and he he
Ooh, what
he's gone
movie?
on to
That's
other
so
things that actually make
neat.
money. but
Hey,
but
that's
yeah,
incredible.
I envied that from him because um, being able to think and jump from one to the other to the other to the other deftly is a very rare trait, and to be able to continue a conversation and keep it entertaining, keep it flowing. That sounds like an absolute perfect talent for being a VTuber.
Aw. Well, your friend sounds like they would be an absolute shoo-in and a hoot if they're not already.
Yeah, they.
But it's funny. I was saying to some friends of mine this past summer when they were talking about wanting to get into streaming, not even just VTubing, just getting into streaming.
Right.
I was like, yeah, the thing you have to do is you have to be really comfortable with just talking to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it's like practice just talking to yourself and like saying your stream of consciousness while you're in the car driving, like
Mm-hmm.
to just get yourself okay with that, like that's what it is. And if you are very, very lucky, there will be someone in your digital chat who is willing to talk back to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
But not all the time is there going to be somebody who is actively keeping the ball in the air with you.
Yeah.
So you got to be okay with telling stories to what may feel like nobody because, of the way lurking works.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
when I first started streaming, not as a VTuber, but just like streaming in general,
Mm-hmm.
I would sort of pre-plan some stories that I wanted to tell.
Right.
That were just like, it was almost like baby's first stand-up. I would have some key ideas of like, oh, what would be a really fun story to talk about? Like, I'm going to talk about these things just to like, as I draw, just so I have something to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And if I get to them, awesome. If I don't, whatever. At least I have something that if I run out of ideas to talk to nobody about, I have something I can keep myself entertained with.
You can fall back on it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's always good to have that in your back pocket just in cases. I don't do that any longer because, as I have mentioned, I am very, very lucky
Mm-hmm.
to have some amazing people in my chat community who, are so cool with vibing with what we're doing or what I'm talking about. And they can bring such interesting topics of conversation to the chat too. So we can generally just kind of keep things rolling.
Mm-hmm.
But every now and then you get into the lulls and you got to keep it going on your own.
Yeah. 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 It's great to hear that it's such an art of conversation that not a lot of people are able to do. And for some people, I mean, it's always your mileage may vary when I talk about these things because everybody's got their own style with how they
Yes.
present themselves, and I kind of compare VTubing to the old disc jockey days, where
Yes.
yeah, because
That's so, yes, very much.
yeah, because I mean, when we were disc jockeying back in the 1800s, we had
In the 1800s.
back in the 1800s, we
when everybody disc jockeyed like this and everyone was ready to talk about the sports and
That's
the
right.
good old Yankees.
Yes. Yes, and the Yankees were making $10 a game the whole time. So
$10 whole. You know how many biscuits you can buy with them biscuits?
That's right.
So many biscuits.
Yes. But you never have enough biscuits to get that home run. It's always one biscuit short.
Always one biscuit short.
Yeah. It was.
There are people in who are listening to this right now who think we're talking about something genuine. Like, wait, did they really buy biscuits back then? We're like, no, we're just doing a bit.
Yes, you youngsters.
Let's tell the children. Let's break the illusion for the children.
Like,
no, children, it's fine.
Like somebody put up a poster of a television show that used to be on Cartoon Network, Puffy Yami.
Oh my God, I remember Puffy Yami.
And it was Mary Eventry who's been on the show before. And I said, oh, I didn't know you remembered Wilson Phillips. What?
I'm sad that the idea that Puffy Yami is an old show is a thing.
Yeah, it's painful.
I'm like, what about Cartoon Network?
Yeah.
Remember when that started?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you don't? Oh, me neither. Ninja Vanish.
Yeah. Well, it's those of us who were there when MTV started. It's
it's before my time.
Yeah.
I've always had a time of MTV.
Yeah, it was fun to watch back then. There's very few reality shows, like none. And and it was just so much fun. And
back then it was just music television.
Yeah, with videos of music.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
that killed the radio star.
No, well, it didn't really kill me, but it did, I was limping for a good while after that. still am in a lot of ways. Talking with you here, first of all, you're extremely easy to talk with, and I love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. As are you. I'm finding it quite easy to talk to you, so thank you.
So
listeners don't know, this is genuinely the first time that we are holding a sustained conversation.
Oh yeah.
This isn't just like beyond, setting up 2 seconds beforehand to be like, hello, are you ready? Yeah, great. How's the sound? Good.
Good, let's go.
Exactly.
3, 2, 1, let's go.
Not no though.
Yeah, but it's something that kind of gets lost a little bit for some folks. But and this folks know by now, because we've done so many of these interviews, that it's not so much an interview as just a conversation. So it's
exactly
today's interviewers, they interview other interviewers and they get the answers that they want, and that's not the way it should work.
Well, I've certainly had folks interview me in the past and say, do you want to know the questions in advance? And my response to that is, oh no, it is way more fun if I don't.
Oh yeah, I haven't written it down a question yet. I mean, why would you because when you talk to somebody and you found this, I'm sure you found this out just from your ad lib stuff and from your streaming, is that you listen to what somebody says and you react off of it, because their question coming off of that is going to be better than any question that you wrote down 2 days before.
Agreed. And then nothing really stilts the conversation quite like, all right, well, we finished talking about that thing. Let me ask a different question that has absolutely nothing to do with like that heel turn is really tough sometimes.
Oh yeah. And it drives me right up a tree. Literally, I will drive the car up a tree if I hear that.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's.
The trees are lovely this time of year.
Yeah, but they also move in front of you on the road too fast.
Facts. Them's facts. I've seen Final Destination. I know.
And I said when I was a kid, I'm doing this from Central Illinois, and when I was back in the 1700s, we didn't see deer anywhere, and the other night they had 7 auto accidents and 5 of them involved deer.
No way.
Yes.
That's wackadoodle. But I live on the east coast of the United States, the
Mhm.
northeast coast,
Yeah.
which is, if any of you are familiar, that's where the deer live.
Mhm.
So that to me, I'm like, yeah, that's like a Tuesday. Oh, there was a deer that hit a car?
Mhm.
Which one? Oh, that's Paul. Paul the deer? Yeah,
Yeah.
I hit him Thursday. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's very common.
Yeah. Well, up where you're at, the deers have to have licenses.
It's true.
Yeah. We should do that here.
They have licenses to get hit.
That's
That's
right.
correct. That's correct.
We should have that down here. We'd raise a lot more funds that way. But it's when I tune in to watch your streams, what am I going to see?
Well, on my streams, I try very hard to make them PG-13.
Mhm.
And it is out of love and respect for my fellow streamers who are 18 plus. I adore them.
Mhm.
I just know that a lot of the people who come to watch my channel aren't necessarily 18. I know that some of my friends' kids come and watch my stream. And I'm fully aware that, like, for places like YouTube and Twitch, you must be 13 years or older to access and have an account. Is that actually true? No, I'm not going to.
Well,
I'm not your mom. I'm not going to narc on you. But like,
YouTube guys come to every
reality
house
is-
and check.
Exactly. But I was like, the reality is, I would just want there to be a safe space for anyone of any age to feel welcome and comfortable, and like they can participate.
Yeah.
And so I do my best to, not to swear on stream. I try my best to keep things PG-13 as far as like content. I do have a content alert button that anybody can use at any time. So if anything is getting a little bit like racy or something, chat will, or if I like make a joke and then realize after I've said it that that's like vaguely off color, I'll be like, I'm content alerting myself, don't worry. And so that's like my little punishment is if I ever get like slightly off task, I'll get content alerted. Very, very occasionally. I think it'll be like once in a very blue moon, I will drop a lesser swear because the game has frustrated me that hard. I'm pretty good about it.
Yeah, and that's
But yeah, generally speaking, my streams are a little bit more on the cozy side,
Yeah.
and the chill vibe side, with the occasional I'm yelling at a game because I'm bad at platforming.
and that's when the chat certainly admonishes you.
Absolutely. My chat though is like, I know some people have an adversarial relationship with their chats. My chat is such a supportive bunch. I adore that they not just for me. Like, yes, obviously I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh, chat, thank you for being supportive, of course. But I adore that I have members of my community that will come in and be like, I've had a hard day. And the outpouring of love and support that comes from my regulars who come often and interact with one another is really, really cool. And as folks start streaming from that community, we go and hang out in one another's streams, and it's just really neat to be like in someone else's stream and be like, hey, that's a friend that I know from this stream. Oh, I'm so glad that you can be a part of our stream. And that is like almost single-handedly one of the reasons to like continue to be a part of like a Twitch community, say. Like, it's so intoxicating to get to know so many cool people and get to see them in all these wonderful venues. It's kind of like Cheers. You want to go where everyone knows your name?
Norm!
You know, like,
Yeah,
you show up in someone's chat and you see like, oh, that's my friend. Hi, friend. I'm so glad you're watching this streamer too.
That's absolutely wonderful. That's one of the biggest super positives that this particular medium has, and the fact that you can do it with
Very much so.
with people who you're never going to see, more than likely, standing upside down on the other side of the world.
I am super grateful that I had this wonderful opportunity.
Mm.
I went to TwitchCon,
Mm.
but not TwitchCon US.
Oh.
I went to TwitchCon Amsterdam.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was TwitchCon Amsterdam was summer of 2022.
Oh my.
I got to meet a lot of very cool people across the pond in Europe.
Yeah.
And that has been so enlightening to see like the way that European streamers stream and like the differences therein and the similarities therein. And I
Right.
got to meet so many cool people and expand my own horizons in that way and get to become a regular in their chats that I wouldn't have otherwise been a part of by just staying put in the US. So, I'm not saying, oh my God, everyone should shell out $1 billion to go to a TwitchCon in another country. But I am saying if the opportunity arises and you can seize it, I definitely encourage it because for me, it was such a positive experience. And it was so cool getting to meet all these folks who just wanted to reach out and be a part of each other's lives. It was really, really neat. Some really close friends have come about from just meeting them at a con, waiting to pick up our badges. That literally some of my closest streamer friends have come from that experience.
Well, folks, you don't want to miss out on what Mink the Satyr's got going on. We're going to have all of the links that we've been able to find in the description for the interview. and
Bless.
and we're going to have to bring you back because I don't even think we got started.
I would love to come back. It
Yes.
would be my honor and my pleasure.
Well, I definitely appreciate coming on. I'm really glad that we got a chance to meet up on this and talk some because
Me too.
I had this idea that if we kept going, we'd have like 6 or 7 shows by the time we're done.
I was born with the gift of gab. Unfortunately, one of those gifts comes with the caveat of, and we never quite get to talk about the thing we wanted to talk about.
Yeah, that does happen. But that also makes it a more entertaining show usually at the end.
Fingers crossed, I hope so.
It just definitely did for me. Thanks you so much for coming on. And
Of course,
again,
and thank you.
folks, check out
And
what.
thanks, listeners, for being here.
Yeah, and again, folks, check out what Mink's got going on. We'll have the lists in the description, and we will have you on again very, very, very soon.
Oh, sweet. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.